Hola, New York! Hi everyone, my name is Piyada, or you can know me as Kai, and this is my final presentation, my final project presentation. And I would like to introduce you guys about the dialect in the US, which is called New York Latino English. And let's check it out. What is New York Latino English and where we can find it? This dialect is spoken by the Hispanic American on the East Coast of United States and influenced by the New York City English and African American English, which is borrowed some feature of Spanish English. And as you can see here, the blue one, the blue color on the map, for some example, like in the Florida and the North Carolina, New Jersey, and of course, its name is New York Latino English. It's my original origin in New York City. So let's see. New York Latino English, or we know as Puerto Rican English and New Yorican English, is influenced by the Puerto Rican Spanish and Dominican Spanish, which is some structure or feature of like New York accent Spanish and Ave that we have learned in this course, and is originating in this city, in the New York. Yes, so we will see how this dialect came to be. It's come from the migration to New York of Puerto Rican. You can see that on the screen. Puerto Rican is a U.S. territory in the Northeast Caribbean, and then in the 1493 it used to be Spanish colonization, and back to the U.S. territory by the 1898, and then after World War I, this is a changing point. This is the originating. Yeah, the migration is increasing. The Puerto Rican moving to New York and in the U.S. and they got the U.S. citizenship. So then they become a New Yorker, and the next generation born in New York, yeah, and then become English and Spanish bilingual. So in New York, historical is opposed local from about black and white. Yeah, but Latino is not. They didn't consider them as a black or white, but they are preserving certain about the feature of Spanish in their English speaking. So this make them different from the other group, the other language. Yeah. And the Latino New Yorker community and culture is very wonderful in New York. In the New York, you can see the paint, the culture, the building, and the art and everything, which the Latin flavor, the Latin culture, even the food, yeah, and you can see the taco here, and it's influenced by the Latin culture. And in New York, they have the Hispanic Pride Month. Yeah, about the Hispanic or the Latino will come and celebrate together, and they also have the Puerto Rican Day, that Puerto Rico people will come and enjoy and celebrate together. Yeah, here is the culture and the community in the New York. Now you know the origin of this and who speak these languages. We'll go deeper on the feature, on the remarkable feature of this language, of this dialect. Yeah, before we go deeper, I want to tell you that New York Latino English is a term of native variety of English of Latino New Yorker. Not all Latino in New York speak this dialect, and not all of these dialect speaker are Latino. Yeah, it's sometimes speak by people who little or didn't know any Spanish. Yeah, and for the remarkable feature of this language, which is the light L, and for example, the word like, love, or live. Yeah, here's the light L. And in contrast, most of the New York accent is pretty dark L. For example, the word milk, milk, and pool, pool. Yeah, here is the light L and dark L. And if you didn't get from me, I'll have an example for you, the clip video that will show you clearer. Let's see.
I'm going to thank a lot of people because a lot of people helped me with my success. So here it goes.
Cuckoo. No, not cuckoo. You see, you hear that? She said, a lot of people, a lot of people. Yeah, here is the light L. Yeah, and I have another example for you guys. Here is the comparison of light L and dark L.
When I pronounce the words dolphin, velvet, ungrateful, I use dark L's. But now listen to Sofia Vergara, and she uses light L's.
I should have said the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Chocolate, red velvet, and vanilla. Red velvet. He's so ungrateful. He's so ungrateful.
Yes, thank you, Sofia Vergara. Here is the light L and dark L. This is a remarkable feature of New York Latino English. We move to another one, which is the syllable time. Here is another remarkable one of the New York Latino English. What is the syllable time? It is the duration of every syllable is equal, and when you add more syllable in the sentence, you will use more time. You will spend more time to finish all of the sentence. It's different from the stress. It's different from the stress time. You use the almost the same length, the same time to finish the sentence. For example, boys play games. Boy play games. Yeah, when you use syllable time, like on the screen, when you add more syllable, like the boys will playing the game. The boy will playing the game. See that? You spend more time to finish. But in another way, in the standard American, when you use stretch time, you use almost the same length, the same time to finish it. Like the boy playing the game. The boy playing the game. See that? Yeah. Here is the another remarkable one for the New York Latino English. So let's see another. Another one is the loss of dental stop after nasal and fricative. And this is lists some vocabulary, some characteristic of plural of some vocabulary. Yes, such as the word bend, bent, bent. In New York Latino English will pronounce it bend, bend without T. Yes, and for another one is left, left. In New York Latino English will pronounce left, left. No T at all. And another one, test, test. Yeah, in New York Latino English, we pronounce this like test, test. Yeah, it's here that is a characteristic of plural. Yes. We move to the next one. These features are actually characteristic but haven't been documented yet. It's also borrow this feature from the Spanish. You see that on the screen. Yeah, the K, P, T syllable or the K, T, P will sound more like the, B, or GDB, such as the word right, right. In New York Latino English, we pronounce right, right. So D, right? Yes. And for the G, D, B, the, B, will sound a bit softer. For example, the word right, right. In New York Latino English, we'll pronounce it right, right. See that? It sounds a bit softer. Yes. Next, we move to the grammatical of New York Latino English. It's quite similar to the AVE, yeah, which is the lack of inversion or the weird grammar structure. Yes, in particular of first and second person question. For example, if you want to go to the bathroom and you will tell your friends, ask your friend, you say that, can I go to the toilet? Yeah, or if you need something and you ask them, can I have a paper towel, please? Something like that. But in New York Latino English, if you want to do that, you say, I can go to the bathroom. I can have a paper towel, please. Something like this. This is the remarkable one from the New York Latino English. Yeah. And another one is a clock or a direct translation, which is the loan translation is a word or phrase that borrow from another language by literal word for word or root for root translation. For example, if you want to say you are possessed by the evil, in New York Latino English we say owned by the evil, she owned by the evil, her owned by the evil. Yes. Or another one, if you want to go to somewhere or even in the cafe, yes, and you found that the door is locked. Yeah. The New York Latino English will say the door is closed. It means the door is locked. Yeah, here is another remarkable one of the feature of New York Latino English. Yeah. And all of these features that I told you, I provide you is the combination of like the African American vernacular English, the Spanish, the modern English, the New York accent, and everything, and the influence by the Latino because of the immigration that creates all of these features. Yes. And the study of Peter Solomonson and Michelle Newman, the name of peer group identification of variation in New York Latino English, and they found that they can categorize the Latino as a no peer-based grouping, and they are family-oriented. They are whose members show the strongest pride and the self-identification with their ethnocultural, their heritage. Yeah. And they're proud to be them. They're proud to be themselves. And they don't love the changing at all. And even though the big factor like hip hop song, hip hop culture that can affect to every culture, like every dialect, every language. But they did catch uh, New York Latino English. They can retain some New York Latino feature from them. But from the study, the researcher found that no dialect is monolithic, and New York Latino English is no exception. They found that language variation reveals a lot about social situation of speakers and about the nature of linguistic system. And they found that one factor that can be made this dialect can be changed or or be changing, can be used or have the next generation. You can see that on the map. At first, this dialect is used to just speak just only in originate in New York, right? But now it's spread out of the east coast of US. And for the youth and the next generation, for the peer culture, the influencing of speech of teen, and everything. And they found that these factors can be changed, this aspect, this dialect to be another one, to be another feature or whatever. As you guys know, this Latino or New York Latino English speaker here, they don't like anything that changing or the new thing or everything. They like about the heritage, their culture, their own, the like uh family orange. So they don't have any like special word or slang to express or use among their community or their group. But now I'll show you some New York slang word that uh, influenced by the Spanish. Yes, the word which is bodega. What is bodega? Yeah, bodega is come from Spanish, which is la bodega. Yeah, it's referred to the grocery store. Yeah, in the past, this term used with frequently in Spanish-speaking population and primarily refer to the bodega found around the Spanish-speaking neighborhood in New York City. And now New Yorker used to refer to the place, the grocery store that they can get everything here. Since a little beer, one beer, bananas, sandwiches, or some coffee, everything, some breakfast. Yeah, and they feel like home. Yeah, here and the bodega is the place that machine cannot replace. Yeah, here is the some one slang that influenced by Spanish language, Spanish culture. Yes, and now I'm going to show you about the accent in New York City with the New York Latino English, which is the Bronx accent from Jennifer Lopez. Listen carefully.
What do I take?
When I was growing up, I talked like this. I was like very, hi, how are you? What do you want? I have my hoops on.
I got my hoops
I
on.
love to wear a lot of eyeliner.
Thank you, Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, and as a video, you see that the Puerto Rican flavor with the Bronx accent and some Latin flavor and a lot of hand. Yeah, and very fast tip of the tongue and some syllable time and the light L from her. Here is the example of Bronx accent with the New York Latino English. And let's see another one. Yeah, here is the Brooklyn accent.
I would say, oh, you have an accent, you just talk like people on TV, you know, just, you know. But on top of my accent, I also had a speech impediment. So I was bullied, and back then they didn't call it bullying.
Yeah, thank you, Rosie. This is another different. She have the high-pitched voice with thick New Yorker accent. You hear the light L like she said, bullying, and also, yeah, and with some Brooklyn accent, which is the diphthong sound, yeah. And here is some different dialect and different accent in New York. And I would say that I want to tell you that not everyone from the same place. Even these of representative Rosie, Jennifer Lopez, or Cardi B, they are from New York, but they are speak in New York Latino English, but they also have the different accent. Not everyone from the same place sound the same accent. Vary by the socioeconomic background, the generation, the ethnicity, or the race, and all kind of individual factor. Yes, and because in every real way, accent is identity. Different people from the same place have more or less vocalization accent, and that usually has to do with the identity too. Before we end this presentation, I would like to recommend you, if you like don't have time to spend in the New York street or New York high school or somewhere in New York, I recommend you to watch this movie called Racing with Vegas. Yeah, a great movie that was premiere at 2002 Cannes Film Festival in the name of Long Way Home. The great movie that you can see the middle class of Latinos live in New York. The about the Dominican American on the lower east side of Manhattan. Yeah, and of course you will get the New York Latino English accent. How the different on this movie. Yes, I recommend you to watch this. And here is my references. A lot. Yes. And before we end this presentation, I would like to thank you guys for hearing me today. And I'd like to say thank you to teacher Dylan that always support me until my project here success. And if you guys have any comment or question, please feel free to comment under this video. Yeah, now it's time to say gracias.